Hey guys, it's Eric here and this is my unboxing and review of the Xiaomi Mi Note 10, a successor to the Mi Note 3 from 2017. Yeah, Xiaomi skipped 6 generations just like that. When you open the box, you're greeted with the smartphone. Let's take out the stickers. This is the midnight black color. It also comes in Aurora green and glacial white. You have an envelope that houses your SIM ejector tool, a warranty card, a user guide. You get full support for all the 4G LTE networks available here, a smoky TPU case. This one is a little different. It does have some resivity, as Flossy Carter calls it, to protect those curved edges. The stress of removing this charger was worth it in the end. We have a 30-watt charger and a USB Type-C cable. Let's take a look at the design. It's a flagship style glass and aluminum sandwich complete with a curved display and back. Gorilla Glass 5 protection on the front and back. Very tall phone with thin bezels on all sides. Feels every bit as premium as it looks, and it is a heavyweight, but it is not as wide as the average sized phone, so one-handed typing is a breeze. The midnight black color doesn't look all that different from the kind of grey color on the Mi A3 that I recently reviewed. The penta camera setup sort of differentiates it from a flagship bearing similar form factor. The P30 Pro comes to mind. You get 5 cameras with quad flash, a 108 megapixel main shooter, a 12 megapixel telephoto lens, another 5 megapixel telephoto lens, a 20 megapixel ultra wide lens, and a 2 megapixel macro lens. Huge camera bump that is well guarded when you put the case on it. On the front, you have a 6.47-inch Full HD Plus AMOLED display with 19.5 by 9 aspect ratio. On top of that display, you have a water drop notch that houses a 32 megapixel camera and earpiece. You have an under-display fingerprint sensor, not the fastest we've seen from Xiaomi. The actual sensor is also situated slightly higher than it is on the Mi A3 and Mi 9T alike, so now we have to take our finger a little higher to unlock our phone. Small learning curve. With face unlock, look at how fast the animation is. It is crazy fast, yo. Security wise, face unlock doesn't match fingerprint unlock, but with this speed, it's hard to not use it. On the left, you have nothing. On the right, you have a power button, volume rocker, and a true dual SIM tray with no option of an SD card. On the top, you have an IR blaster and a microphone. On the bottom, you have a single speaker, a second microphone, a USB Type-C port, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. The display on this guy is super crispy and has great sunlight legibility. On the software side, Mi Note 10 shipped with Android 9 Pie with MIUI 11 slapped on top of it. No word on when Android 10 update is coming out, but I'll keep you posted. You get an option to hide the notch and then another really weird option to waste your screen real estate. Are people really that notchophobic in 2020? I love the integration of dark mode for notifications, but it does ship with a lot of extra bloatware that we haven't seen before. Thankfully, you can delete them. I got the 128GB storage variant with 6GB of RAM, and you get about 112GB of available storage. As for performance, this uses the Snapdragon 730G CPU, clocked at 2.2 GHz, same one on the Mi 9T. This pretty much runs like a flagship chipset for your everyday social media, messaging and utility apps, as there are no lags or slowdowns while multitasking. I tested the speaker, and here's how the single speaker compares with the Mi A3 speaker. When it comes to gaming, as usual, I played PUBG on default settings, which is HD graphics and high frame rates. Now, if you saw my Redmi Note 8 Pro review, you know that it plays PUBG in HDR graphics, hence it is actually better suited for gaming. The gaming experience is still top notch on this guy, and I have no complaints because I don't see skipped frames or lag anywhere. What I did notice is the battery drain from gaming for 2 to 3 hours in one sitting, and the back feeling fairly warm to the touch. Nothing alarming, just something worth noting if you want to conserve battery while on the move. Speaking of battery, this guy ships with a rather hefty 5260 mAh battery, and yeah, it should last you through 2 days of medium use provided you don't play graphics intensive games for too long. So on average, it will take about 6+ hours of gaming to deplete the entire battery, but for the purpose of testing this guy, I put it through mixed medium to heavy use on social media stuff taking photos and 3 hours of gaming all on Wi-Fi. This gave me over 8 hours of screen on time at the end of the day with 10% left to spare. It took me 38 minutes to charge from 0 to 70% and 1 hour and 6 minutes for a full charge. It supports fast charging and thankfully a fast charger came in the box. If you didn't already know, the Mi Note 10's camera is by far its biggest selling point. Now, when I first heard about the 108 megapixel, I must admit I was a bit skeptical about the whole megapixel count thing, but now I'm certainly convinced that not only was Xiaomi trying to grab everyone's attention with numbers, but with results as well. The selfie camera is pretty good but isn't the star of the show. Using portrait mode, it didn't quite map my face entirely. By default, the primary camera shoots in 27 megapixel and you can see the difference when you crop into the image. Now in this 27 megapixel shot, the saturation and details were so good that I compared it with the iPhone 11 Pro's camera. You be the judge of this one. I also compared it with the Mi A3 paired with Gcam, and of course it was an easy win for the Mi Note 10. The primary lens has a really good sense of depth for portrait shots. Indoors, the primary camera still exceeded any kind of expectation I had. Selfie camera is brighter but isn't nearly as detailed. Comparing the portrait mode side by side the iPhone 11 Pro, after several takes, the Mi Note 10 always has its focus on both subjects, while the iPhone 11 Pro isn't capable of that when the lighting is less than ideal. I have to give night mode to Apple. At night, the iPhone sits better ever so slightly. Now, aside the 2 and 5 times optical zoom, this thing can go up to 50 times hybrid zoom. The resulting image is way brighter and more detailed than actually cropping a 108 megapixel picture. I know you've been waiting for the Gcam output and I couldn't find a stable one that works without crashing and one that is compatible with the primary lens. It shows a clear improvement from the selfie camera, but the result from the Gcam's primary camera is undersaturated. It shoots videos in 4K with image stabilization turned on in this footage. So I'm currently recording with the selfie camera of the Mi Note 10 and here's what the audio sounds like. Prior this time, we've been led to believe that flagship killers can only be about flagship processors on a budget, as seen on the Mi 90 Pro, which I reviewed. The Mi Note 10 kind of changes that narrative to being all about a flagship camera on the budget. Not just any flagship camera, the best flagship camera for point and shoot photography. A Xiaomi camera that does it all so well without the help of Gcam. There's a reason Xiaomi took this route, and if I could take a wild guess, I would say it's probably to give Mi fans a taste of what to expect from their actual flagship this year. All of that probably will come at a price much higher than the Mi Note 10. Xiaomi is set to release the usual flagship killer type smartphones this year for people who don't care about photography. Mi Note 10 is strictly for people who do a fair amount of capturing moments on a trip or event. I'm switching from the iPhone 11 Pro to the Mi Note 10 as my daily driver, so you can guess what group I fall under. The Mi Note 10 is priced at 179,000 naira, which converts to $500 US for the 128 gig variant, and you get a better deal with the 256 gig storage variant with 8 gigs of RAM. It retails for 199,000 naira, which converts to $550 US. I'll be leaving a link in the description box for anyone who wishes to shop online. If you have any questions or suggestions, please leave them in the comments. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it. Also follow me on Twitter and Instagram to see what I'm up to. Please subscribe for more videos like this, as it will mean a lot to me, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.